Part of it here.
Are you joining it?
We are live.
I'm not. We're live.
We are live.
Welcome to the Knox County Board of Commissioners meeting, April 28th, 2026. We'll start right out by having Bethany from Knox Transit give us an update. Bethany, you can introduce yourself.
Thank you.
And
Bethany Somar, I'm the transit director. So just giving a quick update where we are with transit with our monthly rundown. So we currently, as of today for April, we have 5,780 trips that we've done. So we will have another month where we hit 6,000, which is incredible. Just as a reminder, where we currently sit staffing wise, we have 20 drivers total right now. So 14 of those are full-time, 6 are part-time. So when you add up the hours and the availability and the rides, we're doing about 3.3 rides per hour. So let me put that in context with efficiency. It's awesome, by the way. So last month, I went to the Small Operators Summit, which is a conference for all rural transit in Ohio. And they had a presentation on something that's called micro transit. It's a way to do service. It's kind of a new trend. It's kind of focusing on a small area, but still picking up people from their houses and dropping them off. There are several counties that are considering this. There are several counties that have switched to some of this. Delaware County is doing some micro transit. So they put some statistics on the board, and the goal of this new type of service is to achieve 3 to 4 trips an hour. And I sat there and I thought, I don't even need to consider this because we're already nailing it. We are already there. So this is something that other transit are considering and hoping to get to this level of efficiency. So we are really doing an incredible job at squeezing trips in, making them work, getting the most efficient passes, that we can possibly do. We've had 1,497 people riding the routes. So that's the route portion of it. We have 2 routes that are still doing really well and very strong. The progress loop is one that we introduced this quarter and 6 months. It is not having high ridership. So we have decided to shut that down as of May 15th because we just are not seeing any additional riders getting on at the stops. We want to make sure that we are using our resources to the best of the community's, needs and to fit the community the best. So having a driver that's on a loop that's not really being used is not effective. So where we are, as far as those trip counts, we're about to hit 6,000. I do want to mention with 20 drivers, that still gives us denials. So this might be something that you hear about in the public. We've had 576 denials for the month. 185 of those were for employment purposes and 227 were for medical needs.
You want to touch base on why they might get denied?
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest reason is availability. If we just don't have enough drivers, then we are not going to commit to something and not show up or not get people there on time. So we have limited resources. So we have to say no at times and say we can't pick you up and still get everybody else on time.
There's a lot of that from scheduling, but I mean, they're calling and needing a ride now instead of calling them.
Yes and no. The interesting thing is we also get a lot of cancellations. So sometimes it's better to keep calling and you will find closer to your date that we have availability because somebody else who was holding a spot canceled. We do same day callbacks. So if we denied trips and we have availability in that same day, we call everybody on that list and say, we've had some cancellations, we can get you now. That's about the best we can do with all the fluctuations in our scheduling. So yeah, as far as reasons, it's mostly availability, and that by default means those farther out trips are the harder ones to do. So if we're about a half mile from a county line, that could be 45 minutes round trip, almost an hour round trip to get out, out past Danville or way down to Centerburg. So unfortunately, you'll see those trips get denied a little more often because it's based on availability and we just don't have a full hour of a driver being able to go down and pick someone up and bring them into town. We also do have some reasons of, if folks are not paying their fares, that's the way that we do our system. If you're in the negative, then we'll deny that, because we do have to pay for the trip. It's only fair. Other people are paying their fares. If we're in the negative, we can't book those trips. We do have some of those, and then a few of these are also refusals. Folks that we've given them an option, maybe the routes are an option, but they don't want to ride them. So I can give you some of that. My numbers on that where it's about 2 or 3% of these would be refusals. So we're still at only a 10% denial rate, which is pretty good. But just kind of illustrating that we know that we're not meeting the entire need of the county. And I want you to be aware of that, and that might be something that you start to hear or hear more of in the meetings that you go to. We are really efficient. We're doing a phenomenal job with who we have and what we have, but there are some denials. I had also passed along, I brought our it's our quarter 3 for state fiscal year 26. So January through March is quarter 3 for us. Just to look over the financials. At this point, there's no fat to cut. We're into the muscle. We're getting to the bone. We're paying for people, and then the rest of our expenses are gas and a few supplies. So we really have slimmed it down to where we are putting our resources as much as possible into what we're doing for the community. And then that's what that denial rate will depend on. If we can get more funding to hire more drivers, then we can see those denials go down. But essentially, that's where we fall.
Are you still running about 50% of those riding are for workforce?
Yes.
Resume?
Yes. So, and then, so the medical appointments also are getting hurt a little bit more because those are, I don't want to say they're last minute, but usually people don't know as far in advance. And we're already booked up with taking people to work, which is not a bad thing, but it's also like, we can't do everything. So we've got a lot of people who go to work every single day. So they're already taking up time on that schedule. So if you're, having medical appointments that are booked a week or 2 out, that can sometimes be hard to squeeze in.
Let's go back and talk about arrears, people in arrears who haven't paid their bill. The availability for a friend or family to pay their fees in advance is out there, correct?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
if you had a friend or family member who knew that you might be struggling to pay your fares, there's the ability to call in and make a payment arrangement for those people in general, correct?
Yes. Even easier still, you can go to our website, knoxcountytransit.com, and there's an online paying link. So you can enter in the rider's name. If you're not the rider, you can put your name and then enter in the rider you want the account balance to be added to, and then make a payment. So
And they can also load a balance, right? in advance,
Right.
Yeah.
and just
$20.
have
That would be my recommendation. That's a lot easier than trying to track every day.
Sure.
You can always get on with $1 every day. That's fine too. But to estimate what your monthly expense would be, just put it on once a month, and then we deduct from that through our system. So that is where we land. So we are still working on getting local match. I mean, that's also part of the reason I wanted to put like my quarter. This is the ODOT documentation of how my finances go. This is how I see it. It's a little bit different than the county system, not just because we're on a fiscal year versus the calendar year, but there are categories of types of revenue, and it's very important to know where you stand with federal funding and what's your local funding. How much local funding do you have to pull down that federal money? So, it has the categories of where we stand. We're still running a little bit lower on contract revenue than we should be, or that would be sustainable, and heavily relying on the county and the city contributions to make that local match, to meet that 50%. We've had a couple, there's some things that are just out of our control. So with some of our contracts, there have been some things that have fallen through or stopped. And so we've just been coming in lower than anticipated for this year. So let's see, I think that's all I wanted to highlight.
The last time you here, we were talked about the way you were funded, which I thought was an oddity in itself. Because when you charge, you lose federal funding. So when you
Right.
charge, you lose part of your match of federal funding.
Right.
And I think it's important that the community knows that you're all about funding. What makes you thrive is funding. So the more contributions from outside that we can get, the more match funding you will receive. And I know that's a hard concept to swallow
Mhm.
because it's kind of odd of what everybody's used to. You know,
Yeah.
you would think
Yeah.
if you gathered more money, people would be happy, but in your case, you get penalized.
Right.
So I think the outreach that you're working on with some of the business owners in the area is important, and hopefully they get on board and join forces with you to help you gain more money. So I commend you for reaching out to them.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's basically the feds, for rural transportation, they want local skin in the game.
Yeah.
And that's why they fund them that way, is that you've got to get local dollars in order to then leverage.
Mhm.
Not in the way of fares, in the way.
No,
It's
contribution.
Contributions from businesses and.
Mhm.
And I think it's important, I think you and I talked, it doesn't necessarily have to be a business owner that makes a contribution.
Right.
It can come from an entrepreneur outside of a business. Anybody can make a contribution to you,
Mhm.
which will help your funding.
Yes,
Correct.
absolutely. Any donations can be counted. And I think this is page 4 or 5. This is like the best, I think, illustration it can show you. It shows you the federal, and then it has right here, less fare box revenue. So, that's where it's showing you that it's deducting it and what you can use and where I stand for this. I'm 3/4 in, I've got 1/4 to go. So there's always that running tally. So again, this is how I'm looking at it, which is a little bit different than a regular business, certainly.
Yeah.
So when a person contributes for another rider,
Mhm.
is that kind of counts against us, right?
Yes,
So is there a way to give that money as an outside donation so that you don't get that double hit?
well, the way to do that, and this is how we explain it to the businesses, is if somebody pays the contract rate. So they wouldn't be able to pay the fare, it wouldn't be the dollar, it would be the $4 a ride. Right now, that's our contract in town rate. So that's how we are earning the revenue, and that is the total cost of the trip. So if somebody is willing to pay $4 a trip on behalf of someone, that becomes local match. If they go online and just pay someone's fares, it just gives us more fares.
So you gave an example of giving $20 a month.
Mhm.
So do you have to say that that's divided by 5 then? In order to get your $4 a month for that fare?
I probably should for the paperwork, but I'd have to look into how we could kind of work that if there were just monthly donations.
Is there a way you could set up a general fund for donations?
Yeah,
And that way the $20, and then
right,
maybe you could disperse those as people who actually need
Right.
some of that money to
on behalf
ride.
of that. Yeah, I
As
mean, that
part of
would,
that
essentially that
fund.
would be the contracting, yes, and we do have an account set up for that to receive contributions. So that would be if, I mean, I would want to talk to the person just to make sure they understood
Yeah,
how
yeah,
that was working, but yes, we could put it in a contribution and then apply it to the rider. We could do
Is
that.
there a way to acknowledge higher donors to the program on the buses? To
Mhm.
where we can change it out, but we say if you give this much, we'll put your name on the buses, like rides compliments of.
Yeah, so we do have a sponsorship program and I have different levels of advertising that come with it. So it just, different businesses want different things. If they want tax exempt, I can't give them any
Okay, I
benefit.
was wondering. if
So we
that-
don't do that, right? So like, we don't want to give them advertising if they want to make a tax exempt
So
contribution.
they can get write off or they can get
Or the,
advertising.
exactly,
Okay.
it's an either or, and we have some different levels. Of inside the bus on our website, our Facebook has a very big following, so we have some advertisement out for that. We could certainly look at outside of the bus, but we want to make sure that it's tastefully done and not, just stickers everywhere, so.
I noticed, I forget what town I was in, they had transit, and on the back,
I've seen
the
it.
back of the bus, it said, and I forget the name of the company, but said now hiring.
Mhm.
And it was on the back of the bus with their phone.
And we talked
Exactly.
about having a certain area where it's the same, because we did one to turn into NASCAR.
Yeah, I noticed
And
that.
they slide it
made
in
that
the
comment to
back.
Beth.
In the back, right.
I made that comment. to Beth.
Removable thing that you said you go in and out. So
Yeah,
you can change that.
right,
But
and
also, you think about the buses are running all around town. Your business is getting a lot of exposure.
exposure, absolutely. And so, and just to highlight, so what's on the back right now is 211, and they did pay for that advertising, and it was a very significant contribution to us that we can use as local match. So we really appreciate that partnership, and that helps us and it helps them, and we're getting the word out about 211 currently. But that's a year-long contract, I guess I would say. And then after that, there might be opportunities for other businesses. And just, yeah, we just want to make sure that we're thinking about where we're putting that advertisement. The other opportunity, when we set these routes and we really have a stop, and if we get some bus shelters up, that has a potential for some advertising on that as well.
Mhm.
But we want to make sure that we are running routes that work and that we are
Yeah, you need to
that-
stabilize your routes before you put that
Exactly.
up. Yeah.
exactly, because that's
Yeah,
more permanent, so.
well, we certainly appreciate everything you're doing.
Yes, Bethany,
Thank you.
great job.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, have a good.
I guess I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have a good day.
Thank you, bye.
You can send HR in.
That's just right. Have a great week.
Good morning.
What are we doing today?
Great.
Great.
Fantastic. Oh, lower than I expected. Goodness gracious. Need a booster seat.
Good morning. We'll turn the floor over to our Knox County Human Resources Manager. I'll let you
Thank you.
introduce yourself, and the floor is all yours.
Oh, okay. Courtney Lauer, she, her, hers. I'm the HR director for Knox County, going on my 4th year, I think. Woo. Well, I'll be expecting a party. No, I'm kidding. So we've been pretty busy the last 2 months, so this is gonna be a report for March and April. Ohio Means Jobs, Knox County invited me to be one of their radio spot folks talking about the job opportunities that we have here at the county. So I'm grateful that they reached out to us and we were able to talk with the community about what we do and the employment opportunities that we have. Pam and I attended the SEBCO annual meeting, which was rife with great information about the upcoming renewal and things that are going on in the medical field, the insurance field. So they did move up our renewal date, and so we will have that information sooner rather than later. And that'll give us more time to make decisions on premiums and things of that nature.
So are they anticipating an increase this year?
I think every year they kind of prep us for a little bit of an increase based on what they're seeing overall across the country, not just specific to counties in Ohio. But of course, those level of increases are yet to be determined. And it's all based on our experience plus the experience of the consortium as a whole. So we did have defensive driver training on April 13th. We had great turnout for that. We always try to do one in-person training every year, but then we also have available to us a free online training for those that are unable to attend. I'm trying to create a supervisor development series, so some training specific to frontline managers, mid-level managers here at the county, focusing on different aspects of HR related information. So the first one we're going to do is on FMLA. That will be May 11th, and we have Brian Butcher from Clemens Nelson and Associates going to be on site to do that training for us. And in the future, I'm working to get a trainer specifically about reasonable suspicion and interviewing, going through the interview process, questions that you should or shouldn't answer, questions that you should or shouldn't have, right, when you're doing an interview, and just considering all the things on a resume in the interview and how we arrive at appropriate decisions for employment. Right now, we're doing a lot of cross training upstairs. As you know, we're going to have some transition in our staff. Pam Schaefer announced her retirement, which will be at the end of July. We'll be very sorry to see her go. She has an amazing institutional knowledge, and just a wonderful employee for the county. So that will be quite a loss overall. Andrea Sellers, current HR coordinator for safety, will be moving into Pam's role as the benefits coordinator. Of course, Robin has been with us for a little while now, great addition to the team, and she's cross-training with both Andrea and Pam to come up to speed on the activities that they do. Robin will assume the workers' comp and the injury illness reporting, kind of dovetails with what she does already with Corsa, the safety and loss. And then we hope to post for an HR generalist around, we're hoping to onboard them by July 6th. So they have some time during that transition month to get up to speed. And they're going to assist with onboarding, offboarding, scheduling interviews, along with a lot of the clerical duties, so that Robin and Andrea can really dig into their specific areas of expertise.
Do we have any departments or elected officials area that don't use her services?
The only ones I think right now are standalone boards, which include DD and Knox Public Health. The rest, have reached out. Our levels of involvement are certainly up to those elected officials, and some use us sparingly. Others, they do reach out quite a bit, and we help them however they need. So, yeah, I think we've come a long way.
Yes.
We just got our Corsa loss control incentive program requirements, and that includes our yearly HR training. So I'm working with Fischel, Downey, Albrecht, and Ribbenhoff to get that scheduled. Normally we do it in September or October each year, and we have to have 80% of our elected officials and department heads attend that training in order for us to get the credit for that. This year's mandatory topic is going to be prepared to effectively manage leaves and layoffs. And then there are two topics that we can choose from as an elected: discrimination, harassment, and retaliation, or the evolution of social media in the workplace. So I thought I would ask the board if they had an inclination towards which elected or elective session they would prefer that I ask for.
So what are our choices?
The choices are discrimination, harassment, and retaliation, or the evolution of social media in the workplace.
I'd be pointing towards the social media.
I think I would agree.
Okay, great. Well, I will let them know that the latter is what we would prefer. And as soon as that's scheduled, I will get out a save the date to everyone and then more detailed information as we get closer. Just a reminder, our wellness program only has 2 more months to go. That's gonna end on July 30th. So staff will see some communication reminding them to get those wellness requirements done before that period ends.
So have we had good participation in that?
I haven't had a report lately on what those participation numbers are, so I can certainly get with Pam, see where we are at this point and get you that information.
Good, thank you.
You're
Does that
welcome.
affect our rates then? How many employees participate?
Not necessarily with regard to the wellness program. It doesn't affect our premium rates. Certainly affects our claims and things like that, you know. Proactive healthcare is obviously better than reactive healthcare when something happens.
Definitely.
So we would encourage all of our employees to get those wellness initiatives done just in case, right? I've listed out for you the current open positions that we have. All of these are currently posted on the county's website, and some of them varying on others, like Indeed. Most all of them go to Ohio Means Jobs, not Knox County. We can post them on the Chamber of Commerce's website, as well as professional associations, depending on the nature of their job. Applicants, I wrote on there how they're hearing about our posting. As always, Indeed leads the way, but there's a close second and third between Ohio Means Jobs and the county's website. And also Andrew does an amazing job of getting the word out on social media about our posting. So thank you, sir, for that. And we've had a lot of applications for each of the jobs that we have
Good.
posted, which is encouraging.
Good.
I've broken out the numbers for you, both March and April, the interviews, onboarding and offboarding. I also wanted to tease out for you, we have a whiteboard upstairs, and whenever we're actively onboarding someone, the coordinators up there will write a few of the details on there, right? And when we get certain checks back, then we can take them off the board. Currently, we have 15 employees that we are onboarding right now. And that process is, you know, pretty rigorous and time consuming. So they've been really hopping up there to get those folks on board. And so you'll have a year-to-year review of interviews, onboarding and offboarding, comparing last year's numbers to this year's numbers. And then also the FMLA cases that HR is currently processing throughout this year. So April, we have 20 that were being monitored, and last month we had 23. Questions, concerns, feedback?
Come on, 40%.
Hopefully.
Yeah, so Pam is here until July 1st,
July 31st.
31st.
Mhm.
Because one of the, Pam's not allowed to listen to this part, but I have a photo of her and Jim Tressel, one of the SEPCO meetings, and I was thinking about having Jim Tressel put that out there that she's retiring, and if he would mind signing an autographed photo for her, so.
How
For
That'd
lovely.
be fun, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope that can happen. That would be really neat. I'm sure she would love it.
What can we do for you?
Nothing comes to mind,
Good.
but when it
That's a good
does,
answer.
when it does, if and when it does, I will let you all know for sure. Thanks for asking. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, thank you. Hope y'all have a great day.
We support
You
you.
too.
Thank you. Hey, Cheryl.
All right, Commissioners, we have a few items of business. We have to approve a settlement agreement. It's an application for approval of settlement agreement with the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Comp. This is for Kevin Williams in the amount of $8,200. And Chip, County Prosecutor, brought this down yesterday. This individual currently works for Licking County Sheriff's Office. He doesn't work for our sheriff's office anymore, but at the time of the workers' comp injury, he did work for Knox County. And so this is a settlement with workers' comp for $8,200 that Chip has us ready for approval.
I make a motion that we approve this.
I second
Motion approved. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
And I think there's just one spot you'll sign on that, Barry. And then we have a quote from Bay Crane Midwest LLC for the county engineer's office for projects in the amount of $27,267.44. And this is look like, this is crane,
it's a president.
various equipment that it's like they're gonna be, I'm trying to think, is these are purchase or, Mallory, you know, is this purchase or lease? Or purchase or rental? I think it's purchase. Oh, no, it's just for hours, so this is for rentals, okay. Yep, so that's ready for your approval.
Motion to approve.
second.
All those in favor say aye.
And there's several spots on those that will need signed on those various things. And then JT from EMA brought down public information and warning Annex C of the county emergency operations plan. And this update strengthens the aligning or by aligning expectations with Ohio EMA and federal EMA and kind of cleans up that section or Annex C of the plan.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
All right.
That one I think we'll need Bill to sign that. He's got that down as president, so Bill sign that one. Then we have a resolution authorizing or recognizing the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution, Lucy Knox County chapter for service to Knox County. And this basically says that it was established in 1996 with 20 members and has grown to 80 members. And they're hosting their, I believe this is their 30th, right? Their 30th anniversary.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And they did invite each of you commissioners to attend that, and I think you have that invite on your desk. Okay, then we have approved certification for collection of delinquent water and wastewater accounts for the Knox County Auditor for placement on property taxes, and this is relating to unpaid bills with the Knox County Water Wastewater Office. They do this a few times a year.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion approved. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Okay, and then just a couple updates that I have for you, commissioners. Excuse me, you're gonna I'm gonna pass down for you to sign a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $2.5 million. And that is to pay off the note that we borrowed about a year ago for the transit purchase and the remodel of the transit / Knox County Business Center. And so the county's cash position is such right now that I don't think there's a need to redo that note. We'll just, instead of rolling the note, paying additional interest, we'll pay that off. And I think when we talked about this a year ago, that's why we did an 11-month note, because we weren't sure what we were going to do, or if we were going to do a county engineer project and roll it into a larger bond, or what we were going to do at that time. So that 11 months is coming upon us. So it'll be due, I think, sometime in June. This will allow me to go ahead and move that 2.5 million from the general fund into the debt retirement account, and we will pay that debt off. So
Sounds good.
Motion to approve.
Second.
and those will be everything you'll sign.
All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Couple other just updates. JFS is beginning contract negotiations with the JFS union. So Clemens Nelson setting those meetings up with Scott being the director. And those are either underway or will be underway shortly as they begin contract negotiation. The transit update, just quickly, things that the project down there continuing to move along well. We have to meet every couple weeks. We had to walk through yesterday with Modern Builders and the architect, and no issues this 2-week period, so that was good. Work is continuing. So that's going well. The one issue we don't need to talk about at length today, but we're gonna need to kind of put it on the radar is we're gonna have to make some probably difficult decisions about the landfill or the compost site, not the landfill, compost site.
It's overrun.
It's overrun with material.
Yeah.
We can't keep up.
Hmm.
It's kind of like if you build it, they will come, and so it's very popular with the public. So I understand that, but I've had a few calls this week from the public.
I was out there this
About it.
weekend and it's,
Part of it is people just dumping things right inside the gate. Some of it is people bringing large amounts of material. So kind of the backstory of that, with DKMM is, they help somewhat with that, but each county in the solid waste district has one of these. Ours is really the only one, I believe, that's unmanned. And so we have an electronic gate. It used to be open 2 or 3 days a week in the summer. That's all we had it open. We put an electronic gate to have it be open every day. The public loves that, but it means we never stop getting material. The cost is starting, I think used to be we would grind once a year, sometimes twice a year, so the material comes in, and those grindings are approximately $30,000. DKMM would pay for one of those, and we would pay for one of those. Last year we spent almost $200,000 at that compost site
yeah.
out of county money, trying to keep that thing in operation.
If you haven't been out there, you should go visit. I was out there this weekend and what's happened is people are pulling in and they're not going any further than the gate to dump stuff. But there's also logs out there that are way bigger than they should be.
So part of that is, since it's an unmanned facility with a gate, we have always allowed, the commissioner's office has always allowed contractors to take material out there because the commissioners felt like they were doing work for county citizens, so they could take the material from the county residents' homes. But they bring in oftentimes large amounts of material. Some of the counties in the solid waste district, they charge the businesses to bring that. They have a scale, they weigh it, and there's a charge associated with that. The problem with that is then you have to pay somebody to man the site, which there's cost associated with that. So that's, I don't necessarily think maybe a great solution. So we've got issues. We're gonna have to figure out a long-term solution because what's going on out there is not.
That and the mulch pile keeps growing and I don't know what you can do with it.
Well, they grind it. We don't get material out of there as fast as it comes in.
No.
We've tried to get some of that hauled off, but then we have to pay to get the material hauled off site. We have caught a few contractors from another county going in there. It's not rampant, but we have caught them. They said, well, they were doing work for somebody in Centerburg, and so you're not a Knox County business. So that's been a little bit of an issue. Also came to my attention a few weeks ago that the city of Mount Vernon is taking all their material out there, and they said they've been doing that for years. I wasn't aware of that. So we've had a meeting with the city, but they don't know what they would do with material if they can't take it there after storms. And
How about some monetary help?
so there's a lot of issues, and I don't have any solutions for it right now. I just wanted to bring it to your attention because you'll probably start to hear things
No,
that
I was out there, so I can tell you, it's not a pretty sight. I had some stuff I took out this weekend. And right now, about all you can get in is the front of the gate, and that's where everybody's dumping now because it's swole.
So the easiest solution probably is that we shut it down except for a few days a week. And that would allow the contractor that we hire to get in there and actually work the site because he can't work it. We have a contract with him to go out a couple days a week, push the pile back. Then when it gets so bad, they do a grinding. But when you do a grinding, it's about 30 grand. It's about $30,000, and then you got a bunch of mold.
Are neighbors complaining of odors or what are they complaining?
Just they can't. It's too full. They can't. take material, when they wanna take material out, they can't,
Yeah.
you know?
What about the cost of an employee? Sounds like we're paying $200,000 to do some of these pieces. Or
well,
at
they,
least when it's open, maybe open at less hours and man it during those hours.
and that could be an option. I don't think we would wanna necessarily do it with county employees, because then, you know, people get time off, so then you gotta hire 2 or 3 people to maintain it, because. But I think we need to probably talk to the contractor, see if he has any interest in manning it a couple days a week, and maybe it's open 1 day a week. And on Saturday.
Is
2
it,
days
you
a
think
week
he
on
would be
Saturday.
interested from taking that to a private business instead of,
Well,
that's the Fern boy, right?
yeah, there's also EPA, so Matt has to kind of do some EPA things because it is a compost site. Like in Delaware County, I believe we could check with DCAMM. I think their model is the commissioners have a contract with a private business.
Mhm.
The county residents take their material to that business. They don't have a compost site. They take, so when you show up, if you have an ID, you're a county resident, you can drop your material off for free. If you're a business, they weigh you and they charge you.
Yeah, it's less expensive.
Right, and the county pays maybe $60,000 or $80,000 a year, and so
I was thinking about paying
I
them.
need to probably have another meeting with Jenna. If we came down, we talk about this, and then we may just. And I told the gentleman today, I'm like, we, you know, they may have to make some difficult decisions about how often it's open and when it's open. That may be the only way that we can kind of slow down the pace of material coming in. So I'll get more information. We're probably gonna have to have a meeting about this, talk about, figure out what's the best of the bad solutions to rectify it.
Like I say, that mulch would be good for something. I told a friend of mine, he's got a lake or a pond on his property, a path. I said, man, you should be putting that mulch on that path going down to your pond. I mean, it's chipped up wood. It isn't like you're getting something poisonous on there.
And I think Matt's talked to the park district about, you can have all you want,
Mhm.
you know, if you want to take it for areas to put those kinds of areas where you don't need nice mulch.
Yeah, it's mountainous, those mulch.
But I think homeowners, if they go out there with a pickup truck, there's no way to load it in
Yeah,
the
you're
truck.
shoveling.
You're shoveling it in, so that's an issue too.
Sure it is.
And then. You know, we've talked about, then we have as the county liability issues, if we got somebody out there, but the scoop loader loading it, then what if we hurt somebody's car? So there's just issues, but. I'm hearing more and more and more from the public about it's full, it's full, and. That's all, there's no solutions, it's just, it's full, clean it out, and, you know.
We had a hot dog roast at my house because I didn't want to go back out there. At least with the fire department showed up.
And we have had some issues with the smoldering of the pile.
Sure.
And the fire department is tired of going out there. I don't think they're gonna go out there anymore unless it's a full-blown fire. So,
And we can't actually burn it.
yeah. Now, so anyway, more to come, but I wanted you may hear something out as you guys are out in the community, or somebody may call, because we're getting phone calls about it, and all I've told is we're addressing it, you know, we're trying to figure out how to address it. But it's not gonna happen overnight. But this is the time of year, everybody's.
Well, we had a really odd spring this year with all the storms and the down trees and.
But you know, we can't do 5 runnings a year and spend that kind of money it costs on that. Plus, then what do you do with all the material once you?
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't it supposed to be 12 inches or smaller that you took out there?
I believe that's what the.
Yeah, if you go out there, some of those
Yeah.
logs that people have.
Yeah, which the homeowner's not bringing those out.
No, I mean, a couple of those you aren't putting in a truck, it's a trailer and. You've been out there.
It's commercial.
Yeah, there's some horsepower.
And if we just stop allowing commercial, that sounds easy, but then you have to have a way to force it, so you've gotta have
You
somebody.
still
out
gotta
there.
man.
Then,
The idea
exactly.
of, if you have someone manning it, you charge commercial certain amount, then it pays for the person
Right.
manning it. Otherwise, like you said, we have to close it down and maybe outsource it.
So we'll look at some things, but I just want to bring that up because you may hear chatter about that. I'll let you know. So that's all I've got for you, commissioners.
Mr. Purcell, do you have anything to add?
One thing I have to add, and I don't have all the details, but Brinkhaven called and said that they're having a couple performances on Saturday and Sunday. The community is welcome to come out for that. But again, they didn't give me times of the performances, but I'm assuming that they have that out there someplace. But want to support Brinkhaven as much as we can, since it's
Mhm.
the part of the county that no one knows about except for the bridge that's out there. But
Commissioner?
Just want to say congratulations to the Daughters of the American Revolution and Lucy Knox Factor, 30th anniversary.
Motion to adjourn.
our motion to adjourn.
We stand adjourned.